All right, so in this video, I have 28 slides of raw quantitative data, results, case study, testimonials, screenshots, all of that, of how you can bring more corporate retreat bookings to your venue to fill your calendar between Monday to Friday when the typical families and just maybe one-off bookings aren't coming through as much. This is going to help fill your calendar during the weekday, increase the revenue for your ranch, grow your business, grow your retreat venue, all of that good stuff. And I've broken down the exact strategy, the numbers, the ROI forecasting, so that way you can follow along through this entire video. You can also access all this stuff below in the description, as well as my website, to check that out to see how you can do this yourself. So let's go ahead and hop right into it. So for this case study, the reporting period was from October 14th to December 20th. The acquisition channel we used was cold email, targeting HR job titles, people in operations, executive leadership titles, the people that are the decision makers when it comes to offsite retreats or QBRs, maybe all hands meetings, stuff like that. The people that are in charge of the annual retreats and bookings, those types of job titles. The channel we used, cold email, and we compared and benchmarked this against Google Ads, Meta Ads, LinkedIn Ads, so that way you can know which one is going to work best for you. Here's a case example. This is real redacted bookings for just one of our clients in the space. This first one, DMTX Realty Group, they're in the top 1% of real estate teams in Texas. I think they're the second largest in Austin, and then in Dallas, they're definitely in the top 10. So they have a lot of volume, a lot of real estate agents that can come out for retreats, but they also have a lot of high value clients that work well to come out to your venue where maybe they put on a client dinner, something like that. Mountain, if you haven't seen their direct ads already, you've definitely watched some of their clients on your TV as they're powering the TV advertising for over 1,000 brands. I personally see their ads like on my TV when I turn it on once every month. So maybe they're listening to me, but that's a very powerful booking. The Texas Apartment Association, so they have a large client need, membership base of over 10,000 companies. They're representing over 2.7 million rental units. They also have an annual flagship conference. So having that annual cadence of, okay, what are we planning for 2026? What are we planning for 2027? Having those conversations early and building those relationships is really going to ensure that down the line you're filling up your calendar with corporate retreats over and over again. Fuzzy Door. You can see that this one came in, if you read the date right here, it's not gonna let me zoom in, but Saturday, December 27th at 8:30 p.m. This is notoriously the hardest time to book people via cold email. It's true that sales slow down in Q4, but this is just showing you that when you have a strong operator behind the wheel of a cold email system that works, you're going to get bookings and people confirming these bookings with you on the Saturday after Christmas at 8:30, with this client being Seth MacFarlane's production company. So this is the producers of Family Guy, American Dad, The Orville. I really don't watch that much TV, but these are top names in the space for primetime television. So you can bring a lot of attraction to your venue just by saying, hey, we were able to bring these guys here. So the acquisition problem for retreat venues. Typically, just at a high level, a lot of you know this already, you're going after a small senior buyer pool, high value bookings. They're typically like a full reservation. If not, there's typically some lift on your side of handling maybe catering or handling food, maybe like custom gifts, stuff like that. So you can increase the revenue that you're bringing on your side, but it also is a little bit of a larger lift from not only your side but the client side as well, because they might have to coordinate some of that stuff as well. Limited search volume, paid media can inflate the cost of acquiring a client for sure, and I'll break that down. And then also most of just like the ads that you're running, you're going to get leads from that, but you're really going to have to qualify those. You're going to have people trying to book in that aren't really qualified for these larger corporate retreats. And so the traditional paid channels are already just expensive. It's how it goes. So the cold email campaign setup, the target audience, corporate decision makers, like we said, the volume we ran for this client in this case study was 7,500 emails per week. For lots of our clients, we've run a lot more than that. Our campaign duration, like I mentioned, October 14th to December 20th. So that was 9 weeks and 4 days. And the retainer was 4,500. That is going to vary depending on the scope. Cold email campaign intelligence. So the total spend to date was 9,945. The qualified affirmative replies was 102. Book sales calls, 41. Cost per qualified lead, $97. Cost per booked call for B2B, 242. If you do know anything about B2B cost per call, that is a very good rate. And we're doing that consistently. You can see there's not a drop in the volume or number of calls booked or anything like that. Reply rate is above industry average as well. We're continuing to book calls for these guys. Right now, at the time of recording this, it's December 30th, and we're still consistently booking calls. All the engagement comes from explicit replies, not just like a generic form fill. So why booked calls are the metric you should be watching? In short, your paid ads and just your organic content, they're optimizing for clicks or form fills or content downloads. This works okay for just generic, lead generation, but like it's more so about getting the word out about your ranch and brand building, but it's not direct response. It's not generating a meeting with a decision maker or a, world-renowned production company, the next week. So that's the benefit with cold email is you have that speed to lead and you have that direct conversation that's not just aloof and very generic of like, hey, we might want to check this out. It's like, no, we're planning for this retreat at XYZ day. We want to chat with you guys. Boom. So the paid ads benchmark methodology, B2B context. So no platform truly reports corporate retreat venue benchmarks. So the closest fit B2B proxies I used was business services, the targeting being at like senior decision maker level, considering longer sales cycles. And I have sources for all this stuff linked in this spreadsheet or in this slide deck that you can access. And I benchmarked with Q4 conditions. So for Google Ads, the business services average CPL, cost per lead, so this would be somebody just either downloading a PDF or requesting more information, is 103. The realistic CPL, with taking into consideration that this is a different industry than business services technically, would be 225 respectfully and conservatively. And then the implied cost per call from that, taking into account that you are going to have some conversion, drop off there, is going to be 600 to 3,000 cost per booked call to get a meeting with a prospect that might not be fully qualified. For meta ads, I had to adjust this for B2B because this is mainly just B2C. So hospitality CPL, this is B2C, so this is like your Hilton ads, targeting families, $37. Adjusting the CPL for B2B corporate retreats, estimated that to be 275, and then the implied cost per booked call on that would be 600 to 4,000. Now for LinkedIn ads, obviously this is in the business space, but LinkedIn ads can get expensive very quickly, and so the average LinkedIn CPL B2B baseline is 408. The adjusted CPL for B2B corporate retreats would be about 550, and so your implied cost per call could be anywhere from 1,200 to 8,000. Now, from our actual data, which I will pull up and show you and all that, our actual cost per lead was $97, and our actual cost per book call was 242. And in the 16 weeks with a 20% close rate, that's assuming you're an average sales rep, you have product market fit, or just establishment within the market, you're a recognized corporate, or not necessarily a corporate retreat. You're already doing corporate retreats. You know how to handle this. You have a sales process behind doing this. The ROI you could expect to see would be just below a 4x ROI, and those campaign analytics are shown on slide 8. So the side-by-side, cost comparison, 97 CPL for cold email. The cost per book call was $242. The CPL estimated for Google Ads would be $225, $275 CPL for Meta, and $550 CPL for LinkedIn ads. This has cold email as the obvious option, as it's 3 to 10x more cost efficient for acquiring these clients. So just the revenue input for the ROI modeling that I'll go through. Let's say a full ranch or a full venue buyout for you is $18,000. The day pass for a 30-person group would be $3,000. These are also a little bit quicker to close because you can get this reserved much quicker. Pricing reflects actual offerings during the campaign period. So this is what our client is working with. So ROI assumptions for you. These are conservative estimates on the lower end. Total campaign spend to date, $9,945. Book calls generated, 41. Venue does have established product market fit, established proven offering. They're already running, corporate retreats before they brought me on. Calls handled by founder or sales team. Standard cold email close rate for these calls is 20 to 25%. I'm modeling this at 20%, which is the low end to just model an average skilled sales rep. You will get the best performance typically if the founder is the one taking these calls, because they can speak the most about their personal experience with the venue. So the ROI modeling here, once again, this is modeled conservatively. So the outbound spend monthly is $4,500. That is generating you 4.5 booked calls per week with a 20% close rate. Keep in mind there is going to be modeled a 1-month close lag. I modeled this not only to be conservative, but also to take in consideration if we were bringing you on as a client and you wanted to use all of your own domains set up through Instantly compared to just running it through our private sequencer that already has domains ready to warm up and send from day one. I'm buffering for a 1-month lag there just in case. This is also considering just a 6,000 average booking value. We're not going anything crazy past 10K here. We're just doing an average booking value of 6K. And this has you breaking even just after week 4. 64,800 in revenue generated over 16 weeks, 16,617 total acquisition cost over 16 weeks, a 48,183 net return on your end, which is just below a 4x ROI that is going to continue to increase over time. And your CAC per booking is going to be 1,540, having you break even just after week 4. So the closing summary on this and final points for you. So the cold email is the proven low risk revenue model, especially for corporate bookings moving into 2026. For this, 64,800 in revenue generated over 16 weeks on a total investment of 16,617, having a net return of 48,183 with, like I said, just below a 4x ROI that is going to increase over time. Also keep in mind that when you do get these meetings on your calendar, you're not only building relationships for corporate bookings, you're building a lot of relationships for these people to bring out their family and their friends on those weekends when maybe you aren't completely full. It's a predictable engine because you know that you have a fixed cost every single month that is going to generate you 4.5 calls per week, and modeling this at a 20% close rate, that's going to be a 1,540 CAC, customer acquisition cost, for every single booking. And the high upside, that's not necessarily modeled. I didn't model higher close rates, a full buyout. I only modeled this at 6K, and a lot of corporate, full retreats can go well over 100,000 in some cases, especially with some of the teams that we're generating meetings with. And keep in mind too, once they use you once, if you do a great job, you can get those repeat corporate bookings. I've also included on this last side a reference page in case you want to go check out some of these additional sources for yourself. If you do have a retreat venue yourself and you're already generating some corporate retreats and have done corporate retreats before, and you have a solid sales process on your end put in place and you know how to close, then let's have a conversation. Go ahead, you can go down below to the link, check out my website, and yeah, we can have a quick conversation. If I feel like it's a good fit, I'll make you an offer, and if I feel like it would be better for you to go a different route, I'll let you know that too. So appreciate you taking time to watch the video. Be sure to subscribe and like if you haven't already, and I'll talk to you soon.